Hi, welcome to the Black Spruce Knitting Podcast. My name is Allie. I live here in Vermont, in the United States, with my dog Darwin, who got a haircut, and my partner Chris, who is outside doing some garden work. Darwin just started barking, so he's on high alert, but hopefully he'll be quiet so that we can talk about knitting. A few things before I begin. One is that if you did not see my most recent episode, I currently am 1, pregnant, and 2, recovering from a back injury. So this will probably be another short episode. Both of these things are, of course, impacting my life, although the pregnancy is very exciting. The back injury, of course, isn't. Thank you all so much for your well wishes. I'm still healing. And feeling very grateful to be in a better place than I was last time I made an episode. Another thing is that I am in this episode going to very briefly talk about things that are political. I know that some people don't enjoy that, so I'm just letting you know ahead of time that if you don't want anything political in your knitting podcasts, there's a lot of other wonderful podcasts that you could check out. Please don't leave any rude comments. If you leave a rude comment, I will delete it. Sometimes people have left unkind things in the past, and I just delete them. And if there's a lot of rude comments, I will just close commenting, because I don't really have the energy to engage with that right now, or ever. Yeah. So the first brief political thing that I want to mention is just that my heart is with the people of Palestine right now, and the people of Gaza. I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm Jewish. I'm 100% Ashkenazi Jew. I'm Jewish American, and I don't support any civilian death, of course, but what is happening right now in Palestine, and has been happening for 75 years, but also right now, it's really tragic, and I want to use the small platform I have to voice my support. That's the first thing. I won't say any more than that. The second thing that I want to say that is slightly political is actually knitting related, which is that in my previous episode, I said that I was intending to do the Geo Gradient Mystery Knit Along with Stephen West. You've probably heard this by now, but there was a lot of controversy over the first clue because it looked similar in appearance to a swastika, like the Nazi hate symbol. And I had started knitting the first clue, and I was really excited. And it was completely unintentional that it looked like a swastika. I will put probably some other creators' videos. I don't think I need to go into it in detail, but I thought that Stephen West had a wonderful response, which is that he changed the clue and he's asked people not to share the original clue. And he really was very responsive. I didn't originally see the swastika, but once it was pointed out, I couldn't really unsee it. And as I mentioned, I'm Jewish. I have ancestors who came here shortly before the Holocaust and ancestors who died in the Holocaust. And I don't think this is anyone's fault, but that just kind of put me off the project. And I didn't really want to restart. I was having fun knitting it, but I didn't really want to restart. And it just kind of took the wind out of my sails. Again, completely unintentional. I don't think anyone did anything wrong. But I decided not to continue the Mystery Knit Along. So I didn't do it this year, and I've put the project aside, and I'm just not looking at it for a little bit, and then I'll figure out if I want to do something else with the yarn or if I want to give it away, because I have very beautiful yarn for it. So, I don't feel like upset that happened. I think it just kind of happened. But for me, the right choice was just to sort of keep moving. So that's what I did. So now I'm going to talk about knitting that I have completed. And this week is probably not going to be that interesting because I've mostly just been finishing works in progress. And I have a lot of baby knits. So one work in progress that I finished, I finally knit a second sleeve, and I used up really all of the yarn I had for this, which is the Sonetto by Yamagara. And I had started this in like the spring. This yarn is Viola Yarn Company, which is Emily Foden's yarn company that I believe has now shut down. The colorway was just a number, but I will definitely put in some close-ups and some shots of me standing up, because this yarn is a very beautiful, like green, gray, quite hand-dyed, mottled color. And yeah, I finally knit the second arm. I did make a few modifications. One is that on the bottom ribbing, I omitted the patterning because it has this same kind of beautiful pattern with, I believe these Estonian baubles are what these are called. So you're just wrapping stitches instead of making a true bauble, which is nice and I think easier than making a bauble, and I like the effect. I just took it out from the bottom, especially because I didn't really have that much yarn left. And I changed the sleeves. I like knit two together all the way across and then just did an I-cord bind off. And they're 3/4 length sleeves because I ran out of yarn. And yeah, I've just blocked it. I actually haven't worn it since I blocked it. I quite like it, and I imagine that I'll wear it a lot. Right now, it's a little bit itchy, so hopefully it'll kind of smooth out. Usually I'm not that sensitive. I don't know if my skin has changed since pregnancy, but I am really happy with it. It's a nice, elegant, textured yoke, which is what I wanted, and I think it's really wearable. I have been definitely like feeling my body change recently. Like my bust size has increased due to pregnancy, and I'm glad that this still fits. It might not in a couple more weeks, but I knit it with enough ease that it fits currently. But because my body is changing, I haven't really started any new sweaters for myself. I might knit a cardigan, but I'm also like interested to see what my body looks like when I am postpartum after I have my baby in February. So yeah, I wish I had more to say about this. I knitted most of it in like May, but yeah, it's a lovely project. It's a lot of stockinette. There's a lot of short row shaping in the back, which I think makes a nice neckline, and it's not that difficult. I don't know, I'm kind of like at a point where I'm like, okay, no more adult fingering weight sweaters for a while. I have one more, or maybe even two more that I want to finish soon, but I'm glad that I just sucked it up and finally knit the second sleeve. I did do the sleeves on small circumference needles, and I think I went up a needle size, but when I'm knitting on small circumference needles, my tension definitely tightens. So yeah, that's that. I think it's quite pretty. The next works in progress that I want to show you is, I had showed you these, well, now they're finished objects. I showed you these last time, but I like weaved in ends and blocked 3 baby sweaters. These are all in Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino, with the exception of a contrast color, but this is the Anker sweater. I don't have very much to say about it, except that I think it is really cute. This is the Dog Star by, oh, that one's by PetiteKnit. Dog Star by Tincanknits, and the contrast color is just some Spincycle. I wasn't too sure about this one, but now that it's blocked and the color work has smoothed out, I actually think it's really cute. I've been having trouble with armpit holes recently, and I've been double knit stitching, duplicate stitching on top of them to close them up. And I've been like following YouTube tutorials, but I've just like really struggled. So it's a little, the armpits are a little bit iffy, but I still think it's very cute. And then I finished the Puerperium, which is like a free pattern for a baby sweater, newborn baby sweater. And I put little buttons on it, and I think it's really cute. I had said I was maybe gonna do snaps. I am positive that these buttons are going to drive me absolutely nuts when I'm sleep deprived. But they're really cute, so I put them on anyways. And yeah, they're not maybe even perfectly even, but this one's really, really teeny tiny. I hope it fits. I don't know what will happen. If it doesn't fit, it will go to a friend with a smaller baby at some point. So those 4 I all finished. I finished another baby sweater, but it needs blocking and buttons. And this is the Garter Stitch Yoke baby cardigan, which I've actually knit before for my cousin. My cousin had a baby a few years ago, and now the baby's little sister is wearing the same cardigan. But I wanted my own version, so I made one for my baby. And I will say, so this is the same yarn, the Debbie Bliss baby Cashmerino, which is like a blend of merino and a little acrylic and cashmere, so it's very soft and machine washable. I ran out of yarn on this, like hardcore, and so it's a little bit sloppy, and you can really see on the inside I was like cobbling little bits of yarn together. I even had to shorten the cuffs. I've been knitting these baby sweaters without swatching. I've just been kind of knitting them on the fly. So I am gonna block this and hopefully even it out, and then I'm gonna add some really cute buttons, which I will be able to show you in my next video. But this took me like 3 days. I love this pattern. Is it free? I think it's free. I really recommend it. And now that I've like seen my cousin's baby wearing it, I just think it's so cute and it's pretty easy. All of these baby sweaters are pretty easy. I started a more difficult PetiteKnit one and I was like, this is too I started the Moby sweater baby and I just haven't finished it. So yeah, I have absolutely no yarn left. I really like was scrapping together. I should have done the button band before I like finished the sleeves probably, but it'll get blocked and it will even out. It's a little tiny bit sloppy, but you know, he'll probably fit into it for like a week or 2. And it's just for me. All of these baby sweaters are really just, they're, you know, hopefully he will find them comfortable and warm, but it's also like a fun process for me to be knitting and thinking about having a new member of the family. So because I was weaving in all of these ends, I also just wanted to briefly mention that I found this hat that I don't think I've ever talked about and woven the ends, and I'm gonna block this as well for my husband who really wants to wear it. And I don't even know what pattern I used. It's a really simple ribbed cap, maybe the Watchman cap or the probably the Pearl Soho pattern, but it is Harrisville Nightshades that Chris actually got me for the holidays a few years ago. I can't remember the color name of this. I'll try to figure it out and put it below, but it's a special skein. It kind of, the nightshades, they have this like color shift because they've got little fibers of a different color on top of the black, and I really want to knit a whole sweater out of nightshades because I just love this lofty, I think it's a woolen spun yarn, and it's really woolly. And someday I'm going to go on a field trip to Harrisville, hopefully with my friend Hannah, but I don't know when that will be. She just had a baby too, but she's been like, she's amazing. She's like out and about. She went to New England Fiber Fest with her baby, which was very sweet. So yeah, nothing to say about this. I probably knit this last year, but woven the ends and it will get blocked. So that's kind of what I've been working on. I do also have a new cast on that I'm probably gonna finish today or tomorrow, which is another baby garment. But this one is kind of special because right now it looks like nothing. This is gonna be a baby surprise jacket by Elizabeth Zimmerman. And I actually can show you because I have the book that I'm knitting it out of. So I have Knitter's Workshop, and I ordered this in one of her other books when I found out I was pregnant because I wanted to knit this and some of her other kids patterns. If you're not familiar with Elizabeth Zimmerman, and I'm guessing you probably are, but she was this like amazing, I would call her like a visionary knitter, and she just had such an approachable way of teaching and of writing about knitting. Like her writing is so funny and witty that I've really been enjoying reading it. I've never knitted anything by her before, but she also Like, I think she invented the pie shawl. She really invented a lot of different like geometric construction. And this jacket is special because you knit it flat and garter stitch, but then you fold it together and it becomes a baby jacket. And I have wanted to knit this for probably 15 years. I'm thinking about maybe eventually making a video about all of the things I was obsessed with in the 2000s when I was a teenager who was knitting. But one thing I was obsessed with was Jared Flood, who now owns the Brooklyn Tweed Yarn Company. Before he made yarn, he made patterns and he had a knitting blog. And I was just obsessed with everything that he knit. And he was really into Elizabeth Zimmerman. And he made these baby surprise jackets out of Handspun. And I have wanted to make one for 15 years. There are so many ways in which Jared Flood influenced my knitting. I don't think he posts as much anymore. I think he's just kind of running his businesses. But the stuff that he made in like 2006, I was like obsessed with it when I was 15 years old. So I've wanted to make one for so long. And so I just kind of cast this on with some Handspun. This had been a tank top, but I frogged it because it was getting really heavy and I was just like, this is too woolly for a tank top. And I've got a couple accent markers from Hello Lavender on it. And yeah, you just do some decreasing and at the end you fold it together and it becomes a jacket. Maybe I'll take a video of that because I'm very excited. And I think that the Handspun, which is from Frabjous Fibers, it's very uneven, I will say, but I think it looks really nice and I think it'll be a really cute little jacket. I will say everything else I've knit for the baby has been in Debbie Bliss Baby Cashmerino, just because I find that to be a reliable and inexpensive baby yarn. I don't know how the 100% non-superwash wool, I think this is BFL, is gonna work with my baby. I would never put this straight against his skin, but even on top of something, I'm not sure if it's gonna be too scratchy. I'm not sure what size it will be and how old he'll be when he's wearing it. Elizabeth Zimmerman says, put your babies in wool, but I know a lot of people do and a lot of people have been, but I just don't know how sensitive his little baby skin will be. So even if he doesn't wear it, like I'll try it, and if he's uncomfortable, obviously not have him keep wearing it. I think it will still be really cute and I'm enjoying knitting it. Definitely having a little bit of a garter stitch moment. And so yeah, this I started like 3 days ago, I think, and I've just been kind of knitting on it. Yeah, I think this was maybe some of my first yarn that I spun with my wheel, and it just, I don't know why, but it's just pretty overspun. It has been having me dreaming of going back to my sweater spin and finishing it, but I think that yarn's overspun, so I might need to take some of the twist out, but we'll see. That's kind of a project that's on my mind. I have a lot of projects on my mind. There's at least one other Elizabeth Zimmerman child project I want to make at some point. I'm thinking about maybe doing the Andrea Mowry sock knit along. I have yarn for it. And yeah, especially since I didn't complete the mystery knit along, it would be fun to do something else. And I like the idea of knitting a pair of socks in a weekend, the totally tessellated socks. I also swatched with my Studio Donegal Soft Donegal. I use the Knitting Tradition. Sometimes I'll like make the number of purl bumps so I can remember what size needles. This was size 6 and this was size 8. And I'm gonna measure this and make a sweater for my partner. I think I'm gonna, if I can get the gauge right, do the Northland sweater by PetiteKnit. I will say, PetiteKnit patterns look so beautiful. They're not always the thing that I want to knit because it's just like not always the construction or the type of pattern, but especially for my husband who really likes like a very solid, well-made plain sweater, I think the Northland would be perfect. And Chris wears the sweaters that I've made all the time, so this is probably next on my list. And I might make a cardigan for myself. I'm trying to knit through a lot of my stash before I buy more things. And I have sweater quantities to use. So yeah, that's everything. It does sort of look like a lot when I'm looking at all of it, but they're really small projects. Usually I'm just kind of a sweater knitter. But you know, my body has changed. So I'm focusing on smaller projects and kind of enjoying like the instant gratification of being able to finish a baby sweater in a couple days. I think that's all I have to say. It is stick season here in Vermont, like the song and like the sweater that Creabea made after the song, which means that the leaves are off most of our trees. We've had some snow, but it's melted. Baby's kicking right now. I'm doing really well. Thank you again for all of your kind comments on my last video. And yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I am so happy to be knitting. I've definitely like re-caught the knitting bug. I've just been kind of dreaming about projects a lot recently, and also feeling really inspired to finish projects that I haven't finished before. So yeah, I hope that you're well wherever you are, dreaming of peace for all people, and I am sure that I'll talk to you soon. Take care.